Hey y'all, welcome back or welcome to Tea by Cleo. My name is Cleo, and today I'm gonna teach y'all how to make matcha. Just a quick little note for y'all because I don't think it's gonna fit in the voiceover with everything else that I want to say, but you have to be really careful where you get your matcha from because you're literally ingesting the entire tea leaf. So all tea comes from the same plant, the Camellia sinensis plant that I talked about in one of my prior long form videos. I think it was the history of Tetley tea. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Anyway, you have to be really careful because you're eating the entire leaf. And so to get the vibrant green shade that matcha is, they intentionally shade the plant so it goes into stress and releases all of the natural chemicals that it already makes, which is what makes matcha a really green color. And then they take those leaves, they process them, and they put them in a separate spot. Very rarely do they sell those leaves as loose leaf tea. Traditionally, they grind them up into a really fine powder, and that's what matcha is just finely ground stress grown tea leaves. So be really careful about where you're getting your matcha from because you're drinking everything that the leaf was processed with. You're drinking everything about the leaf. So I can't stress this enough. Just be really, really intentional about where you're getting your matcha from. Okay, that's it. That's all. So first, you're gonna need a matcha bowl, a bamboo whisk, and a bamboo matcha scoop. Other than matcha, of course, you're going to use honey or your sweetener of choice and half or your milk of choice. Obviously, what I'm going to be going over today is not the only way to make matcha. There's no universal anything when it comes to tea because tea is so unique to the individual, to the culture, to the region, to whatever label you put on it. It is unique and it's special and it's something to be celebrated, and that's one of my goals with this channel is just to celebrate the awesomeness of tea and tea culture. So actually what I'm going over today is just how I learned to make matcha through becoming obsessed with it and just researching the best ways to make it to get the most flavor out of it and to get the best experience out of it. I'm also making it iced, but you don't have to make it iced. You can make it hot. I'm putting honey in it, but you don't have to put any sweetener in it. You don't have to put honey in it. You can put stevia or syrup, whatever your heart desires. So I would say that this is just a base for anyone to grow off of and learn as they go through their own tea experience, which is what I want this channel to be about, is just celebrating tea and tea culture and the experience of tea. So with that, now let's get into how to make matcha. You're first going to start by soaking your bamboo whisk in warm water, and this is to soften the prongs to ensure that they actually dissolve the matcha powder, and you're just going to soak it for a few minutes. While that's soaking, you're going to take your bamboo scoop and your matcha powder. I use Rishi Tea's matcha powder, and you're going to scoop 3 to 4 scoops of matcha. It just depends on how strong you like yours to be. You're then going to put a little bit of warm water in with your matcha powder and your softened bamboo whisk and start whisking in an M motion or until frothy. This is to help all of your matcha powder dissolve. You're also going to want to make sure that you get the matcha on the sides of your bowl while you're whisking. If y'all notice my bowl moving while I'm whisking, it is because it is so hard to whisk with one hand, so I definitely recommend using 2 and not 1 like me. Anyway, once all your matcha powder is dissolved, you're going to go ahead and add in cool water and whisk that together just to make sure everything is combined. When you go to pour your matcha into your cup and you've been sipping on it and you notice that the matcha powder has settled at the bottom of your cup, don't worry about it. That's something that just naturally happens with matcha. Once your matcha is frothy and well whisked, you're going to go ahead and add in your honey or your sweetener of choice. Don't let the honey fool you. You will be able to mix it in with your bamboo whisk. So you're going to go ahead and do that. Again, you're whisking in an M motion, and you're also going to want to make sure that you periodically check your whisk to make sure that you're actually mixing in your honey or your sweetener of choice. It would totally suck if you had been whisking your matcha and you weren't even mixing in your honey, and so there were just globs of honey throughout your cup. I know that has definitely happened to me, and it's not the most pleasurable experience. Once you finish whisking, you're going to take a cup and you're going to fill it with ice, and then you're going to fill it with your matcha. I was too scared to do this on camera, so yeah, that's why I didn't do it. You're also going to top it off with some half and half or your milk of choice. Now, if you want to make your matcha hot, you totally can. Just follow all the same steps that I gave, but replacing the cool and warm water with water that is just barely under the boiling point. Another really important step to making matcha is cleaning your matcha tools. So, for cleaning the bamboo whisk, you're going to want to use cool/cold water, and you're going to massage each of the prongs to make sure that all of the matcha powder is off. If you notice that some of your prongs are out of place, like mine is here, that's a sign that it's probably going to break off soon, which happens with matcha whisks. They don't last forever, they only last a couple of months, and you do have to replace them. So just be cognizant of that and take off any prongs that have broken before you start actually making your matcha. The second thing you're going to wash is obviously your bamboo scoop, and this is actually going to be washed with warm water, and you're going to do the same massaging motion. You're going to massage off all of the matcha powder. Beware though, matcha powder stains like crazy. It'll stain your clothes, it'll stain your fingers, it will stain your sink, so just be aware of that. Once you've washed everything, you're going to thoroughly dry your matcha scoop. You want to make sure it's completely dry before you store it. Same thing with your bamboo whisk, except to dry it, you're going to pat it gently, but again, you want to make sure that it is completely dry before you store any of these things. I recommend leaving them out overnight. Thank y'all so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Also, comment down below if matcha is your obsession just as much as it is mine, and if you make matcha a different way, or if you feel like there's anything I missed. Also, feel free to check out my stories on my Instagram at tbykhalil to vote on if I should do a part 2 of this series, kind of going over the history and the origins of matcha and the difference between ceremonial and barista matcha. Okay, enough of that. I love y'all, and I hope you found some rest today. I'll see you guys later. Bye!